Hey, Thomas here. You know, it's that time of year again. And I'm not talking about the time of year that we get to sit down and indulge ourselves on turkey and dressing and all the fixings that go with it. I'm not talking about the time of year that we get to sit down and watch some good Thanksgiving football and hope and pray that our team pulls out a win on the national stage. I'm not even talking about the time of year where we allow our inner kid to come out a little bit and we hang Christmas lights and put up the Christmas tree. No, I'm talking about the time of year that we seem to find ourselves waiting more than usual. We find ourselves waiting in longer lines at the grocery store while people pick up last-minute supplies for their Thanksgiving, Christmas, or other holiday meals. We find ourselves in longer lines at department stores as shoppers frantically pick up items to mark off their list. We find ourselves in congested traffic, and on top of that, sometimes we find ourselves staring at our computer screen at that little circle going round and round and round for what seems like for eternity until it pulls up our shopping cart so we can click checkout and be on our merry way. And despite the fact that we get more practice this time of year at waiting than any other time of year, it doesn't seem to help us get better at it. And the sad fact of the matter is that impatience in our day-to-day life carries over probably even more so in our spiritual lives. As God's children and as His followers, sometimes we come to points in our life personally where we have to wait on God to show us what's next. God may have put something in your life that you are seeking after Him about, a specific calling in your life or a giftedness in your life, or there's a passion in your life that you want to pursue for God's glory, and you've taken those steps, but you can't go any further until God shows you what's next. Maybe it's something that you've been praying and crying out to God for who knows how long, and it seems like God has been silent, and you have been faithful, and you have cried out to Him, and you're just waiting on His reply. Maybe you find yourself at a dark spot in life, and all you need to feel is God's presence. And you keep waiting and waiting and waiting to feel His presence. And then, of course, we may experience times like that personally, but there's times like that in the life of churches as well. We find ourselves at one of those times in the life of Cornerstone. We know that God has called us to make followers of His. And yet, we find ourselves at a crossroad and wondering what's next. We have some of that puzzle. We have some of that direction. We have some of the marching orders. We wait for the specifics of what's next. The beautiful thing about God is that He has given us examples all the way throughout Scripture of people who have been in those same shoes. One of those people was David. David was anointed king over Israel. But that when he was anointed king over Israel, there was still a king of Israel. His name was Saul. And you see, David had to go through a waiting period of ups and downs, of highs and lows, as he waited on God in His timing. Eventually, David did become king of Israel. But it's what David did from the time that he was anointed king of Israel to actually taking the throne of Israel that we're going to look at this Sunday. We're going to look at what to do while we wait on God, both as individuals and as a church. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and more importantly, I hope to see you here on Sunday morning.